of clarity. Well, here's how that went down.
Mr. Turley, I have a simple question for you. In your testimony today, are you presenting any firsthand witness account of crimes committed by the President of the United States?
No, I'm not.
No, you are not. Ms. O'Connor, you are the second Republican witness here today. Have you, in your testimony, presented any firsthand witness account of crimes committed by the President of the United States?
I have not.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Dubinsky, as the third and final Republican witness in this hearing, have you, in your testimony, presented any firsthand witness account of crimes committed by the President of the United States?
I have not.
And Professor Gerhardt, given that you are the minority witness, I assume the same, correct?
I am not a fact witness, correct.
Thank you.
Like, that's nuts. Okay, case closed, I guess. Like, the entire inquiry began, and basically what they're saying is we need access to Joe Biden's bank account. Like, we just need access to Joe Biden's bank statements and bank accounts so that we can find evidence, which is so insane to me. Like, you had a year plus. This is a long and convoluted process in which you found not proof, but no evidence, okay? Like, no evidence linking Joe Biden to Hunter Biden. Here's Jasmine Crockett, who also popped off as well. Let's take a look.
Since we've been sitting here for I don't know how long.
Yes, I've been taking a tally.
Oh, okay. Can you show us? Can you tell us what the tally is?
More than 35 times, the Republican witnesses and Republican members of the committee have used the word if.
Thank you so much for that. Because honestly, if they would continue to say if or Hunter and we were playing a drinking game, I would be drunk by now. Because I promise you, they have not talked about the subject of this, which would be the president. But let me tell you.
Oh my gosh, here's the fattest Louis Vuitton diamond thing I've ever seen.
Something that was so disturbing as I walked in to this chamber today. As I prepared, I said, what is the crime? Because when you're talking about impeachment, you're talking about high crimes or misdemeanors. And I can't seem to find the crime. And honestly, no one has testified of what crime they believe the President of the United States has committed.
Dude, this is a vibes-based impeachment, okay? Republicans have finally done it. Many claim to be brave enough, but no one actually puts it. No one actually puts their fucking money where their mouth is. Republicans have finally done it. Vibes-based crimes. I think it's fucking awesome. I'm fully in support of it. Just gum up the works, baby. Gum up the motherfucking works. They're literally, they're just straight up saying, like, we have no evidence, but I think we should still impeach him. Understand that is what's going on in this impeachment inquiry. And it's not even, like, I'm not even making this up. It seems like I'm making this up. It seems like I'm a partisan hack or something, but, like, they literally do not have any evidence, dude. Not proof, evidence. There is not a single piece of information that connects Joe Biden to Hunter fucking Biden. How can you do this? Like, how are you, like, I don't know how you're allowed to do this, but I guess you are allowed to do it. But it's just so funny. Like, their evidence basically is, well, I don't know if you knew this, but Hunter Biden is Joe Biden's son. Okay? DNA evidence. Yeah, exactly. DNA evidence, actually. Yeah. Hunter Biden, Joe Biden's son. That's it. He committed murder. Okay, what's your proof? No, that's the funniest part. It's not he committed murder. It's that you're trying to say that the father of the murderer is also responsible for the murder. And they're like, okay, but he was in a different zip code then. And they have no, like, there's nothing linking them. There's no evidence whatsoever. And you're like, well, we should still arrest the dad. That's why it's funny. It's not like there's nothing linking Joe Biden to the fucking case. But it's not, this is not an impeachment of Hunter Biden. This is an impeachment of Joe Biden. That's what's hilarious about it, which is why I keep telling you in the build-up to this, I told you time and time again, they do this fun little rhetorical trick where every single time they talk about the issue, they never say Joe Biden. They always say top of the hour ad break, which comes at the top of every hour. If you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe. I don't know why the Republicans in Congress keep saying that. Okay? It's weird that they keep mentioning it, but they're right. At the top of the hour, there is a 3-minute ad break. If you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe. $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. You can also get gifted a sub if you're lucky. They say that too. Okay? You can also get gifted a sub if you're lucky. Here's a 3-minute ad break now. Colonel Dumplings, thank you for the 5 tier 1 gifted subs, allowing 5 people to no longer see the ads at the top of the hour. As I was saying, before I turn this into a segue, yeah, it's the Biden ad family. They never say Joe Biden. They never say Hunter Biden. They say Biden family. It is a rhetorical trick to try to make you feel like Hunter Biden and Joe Biden are linked in this crime when there is no fucking evidence. They don't have any evidence to link them. Abidine, thank you for the 10 gifted subs. Webby, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Huh. Now, there was a moment, it's basically telling on themselves, if Trump Jr. was in legal trouble, we'd help bury their crimes. We need to see that proof. Excuse me, they openly admitted that, by the way. They literally openly admitted that. There was a point in the impeachment inquiry where one of the lawmakers asked them the question, if Joe Biden is convicted, would you impeach him? Would you vote to impeach him? Every single Democrat raised their hands. He said, if Trump was impeached, would you convict? Okay? And not a single Republican raised their fucking hands. It was hilarious. Does anyone have that clip? I don't know if you guys saw it. It's. I need to show it to you. Where he's like, I can wait. He literally was like, I can wait if you want. Oh,
Can everyone on the Oversight Committee say the same thing? Will members of the Oversight Committee please raise your hand if you believe both Hunter and Trump should be held accountable for any of the indictments against them if convicted by a jury of their peers?
Oh, he said Hunter and Trump. I thought he said Joe and Trump.
We can take a minute. No, it's serious. This is a serious matter. If y'all need to think about it, we can take a moment and think about it. It is serious. This is very serious. Think about it. Should both Hunter and Trump be held accountable? I want to see whether you'd raise your hands. Should Hunter and Trump both be held accountable if they're found guilty on any of their indictments?
I think you could have even said, honestly, you could have literally said, if Joe Biden was actually guilty of anything, if these testimonies actually even like yielded any positive results for the case that the Republican Party is desperately trying to make. Okay. But like in a situation like that, if Joe Biden was like actually found guilty, I think Democrats would still probably raise their fucking hands. It'd be politically not the greatest thing to do, but you could still say that because he's not. And if he is, then he does deserve to be impeached. I am 100% in support of that.
Indictments. Raise your hand if you think that equal justice under the law applies and Trump should be held accountable. I think it is worse than embarrassing that Republicans won't raise their hands. They refuse to say that equal justice under the law should apply to everyone. And when you step back and think about it,
then what about the
it's kind
January
of scary.
6th defendants?
It's kind of scary. This double standard insults the institutions of Congress that people fought and died.
During pretrial or pre-indictments, all claims are taken as fact. My girlfriend spurged out when she saw your IG story today. Your dog should not be at the dog park if it cannot recall. Concerning that Kaya was at the park when she recalled for the first time. First of all, isn't this ableist? And secondly, I don't know if you know this, Kaya can recall, but I do have to train her in an environment that is at least like chaotic. Eventually, she has to be able to recall in a chaotic environment. What that means is the dog park, once I actually get her really, really tired, is a great place to actually train her to do recall in. Kaya has perfect recall in a controlled environment. And now she's learning to do recall and other training in an uncontrolled environment. I first started training her inside of the house. Then I eventually moved into training her in the front yard and backyard. And then I moved into training her outside of the house, outside of the yard. And now I'm training her in the most chaotic environment. You level up. You level up piece by piece. Once she's very good inside the house, you move to the yard where there's more smells and more distractions. Once you're done with that, you move outside of the house where there's even more smells and even more distraction, a totally new environment. And then the last stage of that process is a still relatively controlled environment. Take Hasan. What? Why? What are we doing? What's happening today? Okay. I think a purge is needed. Yeah, I guess. I genuinely don't know what's happening. Like, I don't understand it. What the fuck, Chatter? So you make a good point and say take Hasan. How does that work? I just... I'm getting baited. I think that's what's going on. It's not that like it's usually gray names though. Like I'm getting baited by subscribers for the most part. And that's what it sucks. It's like long-term subscribers in the community that are like taking advantage of my better nature of like constantly taking chat seriously when I shouldn't. Let's continue.
But when we start talking about things that look like evidence, they want to act like they blind. They don't know what this is. These are our national secrets. Looks like in the shitter to me. This looks like more evidence of our national secrets, say on a stage at Mar-a-Lago. When we're talking about somebody that's committed high crimes, it's at least indictments. Let's say 32 counts related to unauthorized retention of national security secrets, 7 counts related to obstructing the investigation, 3 false statements, 1 count of conspiracy to defraud the United States, falsifying business records, conspiracy to defraud the United States, 2 counts related to efforts to obstruct the vote certification proceedings, 1 count of conspiracy to violate civil rights, 23 counts related to forgery or false document statements, 8 counts related to soliciting, and I could go on because he's got 91 counts pending right now. But I will tell you what the president has been guilty of. He has unfortunately been guilty of loving his child unconditionally, and that is the only evidence that they have brought forward. And honestly, I hope and pray that my parents love me half as much as he loves his child. Until they find some evidence, we need to get back to the people's work, which means keeping this government open so that people don't go hungry in the streets of the United States. And I will yield.
She's right. Like, it sounds funny because it sounds exactly like the Republican response to Trump doing criminal shit. Like, oh, talking to your homies is illegal now. But, like, she's literally not wrong in this situation because unlike the federal government, which conducted a fully fleshed out investigation into Donald Trump's misdeeds, okay, and directly pointed to actual tangible evidence with co-defendants and an entire process, the Republicans in that same time frame basically only found the one singular piece of evidence that you could consider tying Joe Biden to the Hunter Biden saga, which is that he picked up his son's phone calls. And yet, those very same firsthand eyewitness testimonies from that from people who were privy to that phone call openly also stated in the closed door meetings that the Republicans were conducting that no, there was never any business conversations happening, and no, Joe Biden didn't even fucking know that there were people that were listening into the phone call. So, yeah, I know, as Riley pointed out, talking to your kids might be a foreign concept to Republicans, but it does happen, and it isn't illegal, or at least that's not, you can't use that as the singular force, okay? You can't use that as like the major reason as to why there must have been some illegal actions occurring. Not illegal yet. Well, Republicans don't want to make it illegal, but in the world that they live in, it basically is.